George, you've recently conducted some research in partnership with Aite Group about the mobile corporate banking solution market. What prompted the research?
We commissioned the research because we didn't find any. We looked everywhere. This is a part of the industry that's growing, that's new, that's following the consumer part of mobile banking, so we commissioned the research.
Enrico, can you tell me a little bit about the methodology behind the survey and the key findings?
Interesting findings. We found, first of all, that mobile banking is not only interested in the consumer market, but more and more the corporate sector. The way we conducted the research was we interviewed around 320 corporate treasurers, asking a very detailed set of questions. And the results that came out were quite, I would say, interesting again, in the sense that there is around 65% of corporate treasurers that are interested in what we call the basic mobile banking applications, such as account checking, but that 56% are interested in more transaction-based applications, so actually where they have to interact with the system. And interestingly enough, while in the consumer sector you expect people to get solutions almost for free, in the corporate sector actually companies are willing to pay for services, and it came out that 46% of corporate treasurers are somehow interested or willing to pay for value-added services.
A question for both of you now. Are you seeing growing demand for corporate banking solutions on mobile devices?
Yeah, we've spoken to so many people this week on mobile corporate banking services. We're not surprised that it's easy to understand, and it's something that banks want. They look at it as a value-added service. They look at it, again, as a natural evolution of banking. First it was on the web and a web browser. Now with so much mobile technology available, it's a natural evolution.
I would say security is one of the biggest concerns of corporates. So there is certainly a trend in growing the services. It must be very clear to banks that they have to prove, actually with facts, that they are keeping high control on the data, the quality of the data. And technology plays a significant role, especially in the devices that can be made available. So we saw from our research that mobile banking is, let's say, an additional channel to the typical online banking, which means that the expectations then grow, and therefore for a bank and for technology providers, it's important actually to ensure that the fulfillment follows the expectation.
Yeah, let me add to that. There's no question that the research bears it out that security is the concern. For all the people that did not want to, were not interested in this, the people we surveyed, security was definitely the number one issue. However, when you look at other technology and how it was acquired and the issues and the problems that people saw, clearly security was the issue. I'm old enough to remember when ATMs were not secure, or they thought they were not secure, and people were worried about that. Not too long ago, purchasing anything on the internet, especially doing your banking on the internet, was not secure. People were worried about that. But there is so much utility in those kinds of services. People got over it, and also the industry responded with really highly secure systems. So I think the same thing will happen with mobile banking as well.
As well as the developments and improvements in security, are you expecting any other developments in corporate banking solutions on mobile devices in the next 12 months?
There are two main areas that we're looking at. First, we're looking at the Treasury professional who, when he leaves the office, the workflow stops. He needs to be at his desk to approve things, and when he's not there, everybody's waiting for him to come back to sign off. By having the ability to have those sign-offs in his pocket or on an iPad, he'll be able to be productive wherever he is, and the rest of the people back in the office will be able to continue their work. The other type of person is a mobile worker who goes to people's offices, whether it be a salesperson or whether it be a contractor, let's say, a small business operator who is in the customer's facility. Those people, again, can be productive on the job. For instance, a contractor who finishes up a job at someone's home can review an invoice right there with the customer, click a few buttons and actually send it, rather than having to do that at the end of the night after dinner. They can be more productive on the job and get those the details of those invoices approved right there on the spot.
I would echo George's words, and actually there are some industries, like the insurance industry, for instance, where the time to sell is so important that actually if you can convince a customer to pay, you just want to invoice and to close the contract on the fly. Another interesting area of development is the so-called person to business or small business to big business. So if you consider like distributors especially in those growing countries like sub-Saharan Africa, where you have the distributors of like simple things like Coca-Cola or tobacco going out, they don't want to carry all that money. And so the possibility of using mobile banking devices where actually you have a workflow to follow, so execute payments or send invoices and getting an online approval, that certainly is a growing market where the behavior of the small business is very similar to a consumer. So it's also changing business models where you are offering services to a corporation, but in reality the customer experience is just as if it was a consumer.